All right. Welcome, everybody. I see some new faces out there, and it's a good night of good weather. We got multiple EV trucks here, and so welcome. We usually like to start off the meeting, and if there's anybody new where this is their first time or you haven't been to SEVA in a while, we'd like to have you introduce yourself and tell us if you have an EV or more, and how you heard about SEVA. So we'll start with you over here, sir.
All right, I'm Matt. This is my first time joining. I've been in a mailing list for a while. I was introduced by Steve and some GWGs from Ham Radio, PSRG Club. And so I've been interested in EVs for a long time. I've got an Ioniq 5 and I have an electric scooter that I brought here earlier. It was very early. But yeah, those are my usuals, and I'm planning a conversion from 1998 Jeep Cherokee, so I'm doing a lot of research on that, looking at examples.
Do you remember what year the Blue Dot Motorworks Jeep is?
Late 80s, I want
Yeah, it's close, and I think it's a Cherokee as well, isn't it? Yeah.
The Super Voxy series.
You missed it last month. Yeah. One of our guys has converted a Cherokee.
Is that the hybrid?
It's a hybrid, unfortunately, yes. So it has that loud, stinky engine still, unfortunately. We like the pure conversions best, but the hybrid is like the gateway drug. You're getting there.
Yeah.
Any other new faces? Yes, sir.
Sorry, I beat you.
Thank you. My name's Sean. Ran into Jay at a conference a couple weeks ago. He introduced himself, was talking about EV and the association up here. I live maybe 15-20 minutes from U Village, so thought I'd stop by, just see what I can learn, introduce myself, and kind of listen in on what's out there.
Awesome. Do you have an electric vehicle or just interested?
Not yet, just interested.
Well, you came to the right place. Any questions you got? We got a lot of them here tonight. A whole bunch of different models showed up. And then Ed.
Nice to see you, Stephen.
Yes, indeed.
Stephen and I met at the Electric Vehicle Expo at Miramar Park, and he told me about all you wonderful people. I've been an enthusiast of electric vehicles since 2008, when a good friend of mine had one of the first Roadsters. And I recognize some of the faces here that I've met over the last few weeks. I work for Costco and I manage the auto program, so I've got lots of electric vehicles on sale right now, if you're interested. And I currently have three. I have a Model 3, the Cybertruck, and I just got one of the first Roadsters a few weeks ago. So happy to be here. Thanks.
Yeah.
When's your Costco installing charger?
Oh,
We have one in Ridgefield and Ridgeway, I think, here in Washington.
You got some Roadster?
another question. Did you happen to ever know Ed Fitzgerald at Costco?
Oh, yeah.
Because fun story, Ed Fitzgerald was working on the charging way back in the 90s. Costco was pioneering charging. And back then, they hadn't even settled on J1772, so there was still a J1773, which was the inductive charging. And Ed, since Costco headquarters is here in Issaquah, and that's where Ed worked, but they were putting in mostly in California, where the electric vehicles in the 90s were being leased. Costco was putting them in. Ed actually managed to get an EV1 sent up here for him to use. So there was one EV1 in Washington State, and that was Ed Fitzgerald's at Costco, and that was pretty cool. Yes, sir.
Hey everybody, my name's Tony. I've been working in the EV space for years, but I don't own one, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but I am looking to buy one, so really fun to come here and kind of see different models, talk to owners, find out what people like, what they don't like. But I work on the commercial side, so I worked for Motive Electric Trucks for a few years, selling medium-duty electric trucks. Now I just joined Orange EV. They build electric terminal tractors, aka yard dogs. I mostly work from home, so I have a Sprinter van, which I take out on like weekend adventures, but I'm looking through the Costco program, I'm looking at a BrightDrop.
Yeah.
An all-wheel
Good
drive,
deals.
big battery bright drop to do like an van life thing. So
Yes.
I'll,
On sale right now?
yeah, 3,000 off for executive members. So it's
Yeah.
it's very compelling.
Indeed, there's some GM also offering deep discounts, and when you combine it with the Costco membership discounts on the Bright Drop, pretty good deal. For those who missed it last month, Chad Schwitters brought his Bright Drop and gave a big presentation on it, and the highlights are 272 miles is realistic at 60 to 65 miles per hour, and he had bought his converted camper van to do the van camping thing like you were mentioning, and he bought it in Detroit and drove it all the way back over a period of about 5 days, and so it was like a 2,400 mile EV trip using the superchargers. Even though the Bright Drop has the CCS charge port, he had the NACS port, and so he just stopped at the superchargers. It was about $500 something worth of charging. The efficiency was over as I recall, about 630 watt hours per mile. But for a 10-foot tall and 8-foot wide, 24-foot long, 11,000 pound electric van, it legitimately was getting the 272 mile rated range at freeway speeds on the road trip. So that's pretty impressive, and that's what 173 kilowatt hours will do, which is what was in that pack. So as far as other events and stuff, or am I missing anybody else? Anybody else here for the first time? All right, yes, sir.
Okay. I'm Terry. I attended a couple of meetings back in 2020 when we were over in Wallingford, and we are now 1.5 EV owners. My wife has a 2016 Soul EV that she loves. It's got about 60,000 miles on it, and hope it goes forever. And I just bought a Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid, and I need to get educated on what a trickle charger is. It doesn't do much for me in the electric range, but most of my trips are electric, which I love, and I can also do road trips. I've gotten 788 miles on a gas tank when I first bought it, just to see how I could stretch it out. The salesman who sold it to me said one of his customers got 1,000 out per first tank. Looking for education on what kind of a charger to get or chargers for our garage.
Cool. Well, now on Amazon, you can find most of the major chargers. So as far as for that question, as far as ones that we recommend, Clipper Creek's always been pretty reliable, but you can also check on Amazon the reviews. The main thing I would say is I think it's good to get as high of an amperage charger as you can, depending on what your panel will accommodate. So I would say at least 40 amps would be ideal. So when you're comparing the chargers, you can look at the kilowatt rating, and so ideally 9 kilowatts or greater is good, and that would be over 40 amps. Many of the electric vehicles nowadays top out at 48 amps, although the standard itself goes up to 80 amps. And so some of the bigger trucks and stuff now have 80 amps. Incidentally, some of the other automakers like Tesla that started with 80 amps being an option and 70 amps even on the Roadster have gone down, where now you can't get more than 48 amps. And same with the Ford Lightning. My Lightning, which is the first year, can do 80 amps, but the newer ones can only do 48. So kind of interesting. But anyway, I say as much as you can put in, because if the car doesn't have a fast charger, like the Kia Soul EV will just have like a 30 amp charger, but it's not going to hurt it to have more power available. So I also recommend putting in as thick of wires as possible. Even if it costs a little extra, tell the installer to install it with the next gauge of wire size up, or ask them what the cost difference would be, because that's better. I used to always recommend putting in just a 1450 outlet, because then you could portabilize your charger, or if you had a problem with it, it's really easy to just unplug it and plug another one in. However, there have been a lot of problems with 1450s melting and overheating, and I had it happen to me as well. I think that the newer ones are cheaping out. So if you do go that route, be sure to buy a commercial grade EV rated NEMA 1450 and not just a normal one from the hardware store or an RV park type one, because that can be dangerous. So the other way to not have to worry about it is just having the charging station hardwired. But yeah, good questions.
Is the heavier wire for heat management?
Yes, yes. Because if you use thicker wire than it was even designed for, I mean, often there'll be a spec and a range, and the cost of the copper compared to burning down your house is a cheap trade-off. So that's why I always say, like, fit in whatever the biggest wire you possibly can is, because that won't overheat. So even if you do have another loose connection or something, it will also help to wick away the heat from the poor connection by the fact that it's bigger. Yeah, Mark.
Puget Sound Energy gives a basic $300 discount on their selected EVSEs, the chargers. And then if you fall in a lower income bracket, it's even higher.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and then you also are able to deduct that as a tax credit too on your IRS return.
Yeah, good point. So Puget Sound Energy, I think that Snohomish PUD also has something similar, where they have discounts available to customers who want to install a charging station. And then another way you can get discounts if you drive for Uber or Lyft. Both of them will offer you a discount, so you can sign up even if you don't do it a lot and take advantage of getting the discount. Anybody else here for the first time? Nope. All right. Well, so we've had a few shows since last time. It was neat to see Ed and Mark and some other another Tesla Roadster owner at the Redmond Exotics show. So that was pretty cool. And me and a few other folks went to the Burien Solar Punk Festival, and this was the first time I had been to that. And we had the Bright Drop there, the Lightning, Cybertruck. There were a bunch of solar installers. Brian brought his Scion conversion, which was awesome. And we talked to folks. And then there was somebody with an Ioniq 5 that came later who had the neat little adapter that you just plug into the charge port, and it has a 120 volt outlet on it, and you can run stuff right from your Ioniq 5. I hadn't seen that was a thing before, and that's so cool. It's so simple.
It's got outlets under the bench too.
What's that?
There's outlets inside.
Inside, there's also outlets too. So yeah, that's pretty neat. I mean, I thought my Lightning was cool for having that. It's neat, the little Ioniq 5, you could power a lot of stuff from it. And then, let's see, what other shows did we have?
What type of socket does it have on the car?
It's just the socket on the car was a CCS, yes. I don't know if the newest ones may have NACS yet.
The charger port, mine is max, yeah.
It is, oh cool, okay. So yeah, some of them are NACS now as well, depending on the year.
So the adapter only goes to CCS.
I don't know, do they have a NACS adapter?
They do. And A2Z, I just ordered an A2Z at the beginning, which has max to 520p.
Cool, yeah. So you can power something either way.
15 amps, sure.
As far as other EV news we'll go through, Grace has some news to share. And we're happy to see Grace again as she's recovering.
Stand up here because the electric is out. So, yeah.
I think it may, but we may get feedback, so we'll try. So
Okay,
far, so
how's the
good.
sound?
Face away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay. First, let's see, I wanted to tell you about a couple of things. And the first one was, oh yes, I'm on the board of Cultura. How many of you here are familiar with Cultura, which is a national organization that started right here in Seattle and in California? It's kind of a partnership thing. But now they're doing all kinds of policy and data work all over the country trying to end the use of fossil fuels and transform people into driving EVs. And that's wonderful work that they're doing. However, it's been very difficult the past year as the grants have kind of dried up. The funding that we've been depending on has gone away, and it's has not been looking really good for continuing to operate. Because they've been collecting so much data and working with international teams to put together this data to find out about who is driving gas cars and how much gas they're using and who are the people who are super users, those top 10% of gasoline users, and where should we be directing our efforts to convert people to electric vehicles that can make the biggest difference in combating climate change and reducing fossil fuel use. So they've got amazing data sets that they're working with that are continually being updated. But trying to pay for that updating and continuing to produce reports and those data sets is not finding funding for it. So Cultura, a nonprofit, a tax-exempt nonprofit, is now going to be breaking out and splitting into two entities, including a for-profit organization that is actually going to manage these data sets and a bunch of different tools and be able to market them and attract investors. And so anybody who might be interested in investing in this, that's very cool. One of their new tools they've produced is a savings calculator where you can put in all your information and figure out how much you would be saving by switching from a gas car to an electric vehicle. And it goes really deep, like into tax credits for different states and all kinds of cool stuff. And then the other tool that they're using is now, it's called the EV Car Finders. And it's going to be one great big website where you can go and look for EVs that are available anywhere and from any dealer. So it's collating all the data from different dealers in one place. So those things are now going to be in a for-profit company that is going to be launching next month. So it's pretty exciting. It's called EVQ, and there'll be more information about it. Can't tell very much about it right now, but it's pretty exciting that there's going to be a new entity with marketing and investment opportunities, and hopefully being able to reach a lot more people with the EV message. So that's cool. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is another way to get an EV, because right now, to get an EV, you have to go to a car dealer. And we know how much people like going to car dealers, right? Everybody raise your hand. You love going to buy a car at a car dealer.
Yeah, I was waiting. I mean, I could walk away.
Well, fortunately, there's going to be a new way to do it now, because my friend Jenny from Tesla, she left last year, she's starting up her own independent dealership. She just got her dealer's license yesterday. She and her partner Shannon, also a former Tesla employee, have already got their shop set up. It's in Renton. It's right off of Grady Way, just about half a mile from the 167 interchange. And they're planning to open next month. And they're really excited about it because they're going to have a shop too, so you'll be able to have an independent shop to go and maintain your EV. How exciting. They got 4 bays in there. And they're still setting it up, but they are partnering with an EV, independent EV dealer on the East Coast. So they are using their technology and their method to set this up. They're also going to be able to do refurbished batteries with warranties through that organization too. So really excited about that opportunity. Yes.
What's the name of it?
It's called Eco Auto Northwest.
Yeah, I'm literally 10 minutes.
You're literally 10 minutes from there. Okay, fantastic.
I just hope they can get by the franchisee bullshit. Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
I'll check it out. That's great.
Well, like I said, they just got their dealer's license,
Yeah.
but they had to jump through many, many hoops to be able to do that. So, thank goodness. But they will not be selling new vehicles. It is used vehicles only. What they're doing, though, is they need used vehicles. So they are put out the word right now that they want to buy your used EV. So if anybody knows somebody or has a vehicle, fairly gently used, but not necessarily, they are ready to buy cars. They want your car. So Got contact information. We'll send it out with minutes so that you can contact them if you want to put your car into the market. Such as if you're trying to do a trade-in and perhaps the dealer you're working with is not giving you a very good price, you might just go to Eco Auto Northwest because they might not give you a better price, but it's going to be a much better for recirculating and getting your car back into the market, onto the road. So, any questions? Cool. Thanks. Things are happening.
Good to hear. And as we talk about upcoming events, and while we've got the microphone out here in the crowd, we'll have Billy tell us about Sustainable Ballard, which is coming up. I think we're about the end of the chord. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah, just briefly, it's a modest event. Royal Heights Community Center, Saturday, September 27th from 11 until around 4. Anybody can bring an EV to display, although I think their total space may only accommodate about 4 cars or so. They did not fill the space the last time I came, which was 2 years ago. I won't be coming this year myself, but I told the organizer that I'd let it be known. They would like to have cars show up, and it's Royal Heights Community Center, September 27th.
Cool. And that segues us right into National Drive Electric Month. So it is National Drive Electric Month. There's a whole bunch of EV shows coming up, and I'll share some of them, and we'll get them in the meeting minutes as well. On the website, if you go to driveelectricmonth.org, you can sign up, and if you want to show an electric vehicle, make sure that you choose the volunteer option and read the prompts closely, because it's somewhat confusing which one to do unless you read it clearly if you want to actually show a vehicle instead of just attend. So as far as those, we've got in Portland, Oregon, this Saturday, September 13th, is a really big one with our sister chapter, the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association, and this is going to have a bunch of test drives. And Daimler North America, they have their headquarters down there in Portland, and they have a lot of big Volvo or Daimler trucks that are electric. But there's going to be all sorts of other electric vehicles offering test drives. Oh, also, since I forgot to mention, and somebody that was here tonight looking into electric vehicles, anybody is wanting to buy an electric vehicle, a good time to buy one is before the end of this month, because September 30th, the tax credits are going away. And so it's a good time right now to buy an EV. We don't know what the ramifications on prices will be after the 30th of this month. But anyway, so that's going to be a really huge event from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 13th, right down in Portland. Then we have on September 20th, the Tri-Cities Electric Vehicle Showcase over at the Reach Museum in Richland, Washington. And this had quite a few cars last year from what I could see. And I think that the Eastern Washington electric vehicle shows can be good because there's not nearly as many. You know, here we get used to, you see a Tesla or a Rivian or something every other car. But over in Eastern Washington, there's a whole lot of big trucks, and it's not so many electric vehicles. The charging stations are finally getting better filled in now, but also hasn't been as good. So I think it could be good to go over there to some of those. So yeah, this one is Saturday, September 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Reach Museum in Richland. And then we have Drive Electric Yakima, which is on Sunday, September 28th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that will be at the Downtown Farmers Market. So that should be fun over in Yakima. And I just signed up for that myself, and it looked like there was only 3 or 4 other cars so far. So it would be good to get some more for that one, I think. And then what I'm planning to do is the YVT trolleys that my father and brother are really involved in, that did a presentation 2 months ago about. The Yakima Council is still, they keep pushing it out, so they did not vote. And unfortunately, a lot of the powers that be behind the scenes in the city, I think, don't want it, and the money thing is real, you know, this paving operation. So it is at a pretty high risk, but they're waiting to make the decision now until after November, when some of the council members are going to change, and I think that they're hoping that maybe the new council members will not be as pro-trolleys as some of them now. So on the one hand, it's good because we have more time, but we don't know what the outcome is going to be. So if you want to go to SaveTheTrolleys.com, you can sign the petition. That's something anybody can do. And then also every Tuesday night, the Yakima City Council has a meeting, and there have been a number of people testifying, saying bad things about the trolleys. So it would be good to have some positive things for the trolleys. Also, and they'll be doing that from September 18th through September 29th. So when I go over on that Sunday, I'm going to go over to the fair and volunteer at the booth after going to the Farmers Market Drive Electric show in the morning. So if anybody else wants to come too, you can come talk to me after the meeting, and you could carpool along, although it'll be a long all-day thing at both of those events. Yes?
How the hell do you hate trolleys? Do they hate Mr. Rogers too?
I know, right?
It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, everything's politicized. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, the sad thing is, because the city has such a bad deficit, that is the biggest thing, I think, is because they want to make their constituents happy, and if they have to raise taxes to pay for this. But yeah, it's what they have is the last historically intact interurban electric railway in the country. It still runs between Yakima and Selah, and if they pave over the tracks, that will cut it off from Selah, and then it will no longer be an interurban. So it's really at risk.
How does that affect the chances of it being recognized as a historical?
It will negatively affect that. So yeah.
No. I mean, does the delay
Oh.
potentially improve
Yes, the delay does improve so my dad has been, they've applied and are about 4 years in, and it usually takes about 5 years to get a place recognized as a National Historic Landmark. And so they're in the final stages of that, and hopefully that will go through. I think that that's what could save it, although also because of the current president, a lot of the funding for national parks and stuff has also been cut, so there isn't quite as much federal funding from that available anymore, but I think that that could potentially still save the trolleys and really help the city with their budget issues. So anyway, yeah, that's Drive Electric Yakima is Sunday, September 28th. And then we have the Wenatchee one. Well, that's weird. I don't see the Wenatchee one. Oh, yes, here, okay. Plug in North Central Washington's third annual EV show will be on Sunday. Oh, wait, never mind. That already happened. This was this last Sunday. Okay. So the next one, no, I'm sorry, it's not. It's October 5. Okay, I thought so. Sunday, October 5, from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. at the Pybus Public Market in Wenatchee, Washington. So that's a pretty early morning one, but if you know anybody over in Eastern Washington, or we're over doing some hiking, you might consider doing that. And then closer to home, we have the Everett Community College EV Car Show, which is up in Everett at the community college. The college ones are really great, and we had this one, Patrick, the organizer, set it up, and Charlie and I went, and there were actually over 20 cars. It was pretty well attended. However, they had construction on campus, and so it was off in a different parking lot, but this one will be right up on campus. And so That is Friday, October 10th, so it's a weekday when the classes are happening, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Everett Community College, and I'm planning to go to that one as well, and we need more people to sign up. Awesome. So, with that, that's the upcoming events, and then we will have some cool presentations tonight about electric vehicle conversion and also an epic road trip that Mark went on. So we'll start off with that big road trip. I think one of the coolest electric vehicles that you can buy, and something that really helped with the super gas guzzlers, is the Silverado EV and the GMC Denali EV pickups, because other than a Lucid, nothing has as much range as those big trucks, and that's pretty remarkable. So you can legitimately get close to 500-mile range, over 470-mile range with these massive trucks. And so Mark, if you want to come up and tell us about your road trip. Mark towed a trailer all over our country for a long time, and I'm excited to hear about it.
Okay, I want to thank you guys. Now, this type of presentation, I'm not going to show you the Empire State Building in massive, Washington, D.C. and stuff like that. I'm not going to get down to the meat and potatoes of the whole thing and stuff. My wife, Susan, back there, she was a great sport, and there's some contentious times we were on the road with, but we made through it, and having the anxiety of trying to get to that next charging port, place, we had to figure out in advance where we're going and how far it was going to be to the next place, and then we just worked it through calculations of distance and the terrain and everything else. So
Is that feedback?
Yeah. The arrows.
So here's the stats of the truck. Like I say, it's a 25 max range, total power, 760 torque. You just read down there. But the biggest thing about it is it has a 205 kilowatt battery, which is fantastic. Yeah. It says EPA range. That's what they tested that at 460, but they're actually out there getting 500 plus 550 miles on a charge.
That's 10 days of level 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our trail again was towing capacity was at about 6,500 or something like that. But I just run off the 7,000 because by the time I got everything, my tools and everything in the back of the truck, it was like pretty heavy. We didn't go anywhere close to the top speed of 112 miles an hour, but we tried to stay in the 65, 70 area, and that was like watching that gauge go down quite quickly. Like I say, this truck here out the door was at 113,000 price wise, and we had to really work him down on the price too, because he wanted to throw all this extra junk, like spray the bottom of the truck with, corrosion preventive stuff and everything. That I'm talking about, and we're almost Scotch guard the seats for $3,000, It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, if anyone wants to negotiate a car, I'd be happy to put them in their place. It's fun.
So, now here's the trailer. It's a Grand Design. My wife researched this trailer for like 3.5 months, and this is what we found out there. We actually drove out to Indiana to pick it up. Here locally, they wanted about $41,500, $41,500 for the trailer. We drove out to Indiana and picked it up for $21,500.
Nice.
So just let you know, if you want to get a trailer in the future, that's the way to do it.
Go to Indiana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elkhart, Indiana is the capital of trailer manufacturing in our
Really?
country.
I've been
Yeah.
in Elkhart.
Yeah, we actually went to Indianapolis, and there's a place there, and there we met people from Texas, from Florida, from California. Oh, everyone's going out there to pick up their vehicles.
Worst kept secret. That's good.
Yeah, it is. These guys here, man, they take it to the cleaners. Okay, here's the path we took. Kind of. Anyway, there's actually a little area here. No, these were the stops where where we did the Electrify America chargers at, but there was areas in between here that we actually charged at other chargers and stuff so we did approximately, I'll show the next page here, how many charges we did. But like I said, we basically, through California, through Texas, we actually had a situation here where we actually, between Houston, where's Houston? Right here. And coming out of Houston, we actually hit a 50-mile-an-hour headwind. And the trucks were actually, the semi-trucks were like going back and forth. And I was not smart enough, and my wife says, slow down, and it turned out this headwind actually reduced our battery percentage by about 40%. And so we literally stopped on the side of the road, and it turned to like you have 5 miles left on the side of the road, and we're still like 10 miles away from the Electrify America charger. So we actually dropped the trailer. Susan stayed with the trailer, and the dog. And she said, I'll stay here. And the trailer was actually swaying in the wind and everything. And I went there to charge. And once I disconnect, the car says, okay, now you have 15 miles or 20 miles. So, because it recognizes between towing and for your regular driving needs without towing. So we got there to the charger, charged up, came back. Here's a Texas trooper talking to my wife. And he's like, well, we don't really see trailers on the side of the road. It's disconnected, and she says, oh, everything's fine. So that was quite an experience, wasn't it? All along here, Florida, incredible. They have chargers everywhere. You name it. The competition in Florida is enormous for charging. Everywhere there's chargers. We actually, along the coastline here, incredible. Through here, it's sparse.
But you never have to wait in line.
That's right. I'll get this right, don't worry. Okay. So, limitations for pulling a trailer. So like say, pulling a 7,000-pound trailer, the distance of the vehicle, 500 miles, would be cut in half. So like say we had to stay around between 170 to 210 miles on the distance. And most superchargers and every other chargers that we had on Highway 10 down below was kind of our bed test track for Texas, between California and Florida was actually our test bed for see what was out there.
When you were fast charging, did you charge to 100% or just 80?
About anywhere between 85 to 90 we try to charge to. We try to stay, with all EVs, that last 10% is like, it's wasted time. So, but like I say, we try to stay with DC fast charging all the way because, it's time consuming if we did any type of other charging. It's just wasted time. And we talk about breakers being popping, going to campsites and stuff and stay there, and you plug into their stuff, and of course campsites, their chargers, their breakers are old. You know, the interior mechanism inside the breaker itself is not very good, and they just pop left and right. It's just a waste of time. So I had to stay with charging, DC charging. So on the Oregon coast, plenty of chargers, no problem. California, plenty of chargers everywhere. You had no problems whatsoever. And then a lot of times we have to go to Electrify Americas. We're at your Walmarts and Targets. So we had a lot of times we had to probably disconnect maybe 30 or 20 or 30, 40% of the time we had to disconnect because we had stalls that we were not able to go into. But so here, people are trying to get by here and stuff, and they're going, what you doing? And I kind of wave to them and say, hey, everything's cool. And the evil eye. We charged at 76 Electrify America chargers, 21 EVgo's, and 19 Tesla chargers. There were other chargers that also we used throughout that, like Flow and weird names, these startups through Florida, through the East Coast and everything. And, we had to use your credit card for those type of chargers and stuff. But there's some places we went to, there was nobody charging at all. And of course, we have, I don't know if anyone knows about the halfway point between San Francisco and LA at the Harris Ranch. Yeah, they got the big chargers there. Well, they love to suck it to you if you're not a Tesla. So, and that is the only game. They did have Electrify America chargers, but there was a lineup of like 7 cars to use those, and those were at 42 cents.
Oh.
So,
man,
83 cents per kilowatt.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It's like, it's like,
That's
exactly.
brutal.
It's like removing your portion of your arm and handing it, because they got you.
So how much does it cost if it's 83 cents a kilowatt?
Kilowatt hour. So if it's a 200 kilowatt hour pack, although you would only fill the 80%,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, multiply. It's going to be over. It's probably over $100, huh?
Well, a lot of times
Yeah.
it wasn't over $100. The Electrify Americas, that was on a plan, and there was either 42 cents or 48 cents per kilowatt. I used probably about $4,000 electricity. At Rivian is, these are incredible chargers, fast. We probably, it's a 400 kilowatt charger, and
Wow,
it maxed
I didn't know
out
that.
at 389.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about,
Wow.
you can actually smell the
Yeah.
smoke
Yeah.
coming from the car. Man, it's smoking so fast. But it was 65 cents. But you know what? You have to pay for this stuff to get this stuff out there. You have to be, you have to be the first one to get these cars out. You have to be, to get the technology going, you vote with your cash. And that's, there's not very many people at this Rivian here, but you have to pay for it. You have to get it going.
Mark, do you know what the delta is for a Rivian owner on those chargers?
I'm sorry?
Do you know how much a Rivian owner would pay at that charger?
I think Rivian was actually probably about maybe 10 cents or 20 cents less. But once they find out, you're a asking customer begging for electricity, they're gonna suck it to you.
What was the charging rate at the Tesla ones, like at Harris Ranch, for your vehicle?
My wife can answer that question.
They were the most expensive.
No, I mean like the how many kilowatts? 250 kilowatts or?
Well, there were 250 kilowatt chargers, but they were down at 142 kilowatts. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So your truck had
Yeah, so those are the older ones, right? Yeah. So, you go to these places like throughout the. How am I on time?
Not good. we gotta go along.
Okay, well, we'll make it faster. But anyway, the Electrify Americas are always, they're always down there 100, 180. If they say 350, they're not even close. So we have, here's a Cyber Beast. And if you guys read the strip, what it said.
Wow.
This guy was not happy.
Yeah. He has much smaller battery pack than yours, almost half.
But he was, Susan talked to him. He wasn't happy at all.
He didn't know that before he bought it,
I know.
Exactly. My dad owned that same trailer with the Rivian.
So the biggest thing that we did was we boondocked a lot, which was fantastic. We kind of learned after North Carolina that we can do this quite easily. Plug the truck into the trailer, just like you're doing right here. That truck is doing this stuff, and we can power everything. You just read through it and you can see everything we had. Microwave, do everything, even my CPAP at night when I sleep. Air conditioner, yeah, so air conditioner.
Nice.
So, and we only use about 12 miles overnight, which is fantastic. Very, very, very fantastic. And Flying Pilot J's, well, Flying J is an incredible place. Florida, entire East Coast was about amount of chargers everywhere. Our biggest problem was arriving at Electrify America charging stations to find that the equipment is down for repair.
Yeah,
that is
still.
Yeah, and I'm on the phone fighting with these, people talking from people from the Philippines, and that's where they're from. Nothing against them. They're doing business, but just read right there.
Faster,
Yeah, okay. Yes, dear. Okay, improving charging infrastructure across the United States. This is something that's great. Oops. Okay, the GM and Indigo are installing 2,000 of these pilots across the United States. They're starting on the East Coast, and they're slowly working their way across. We haven't seen anything over here yet in our area, but they're going to work through the Midwest and come over here. And this is how it looks like.
What's awesome is that these are pull-throughs, so you didn't have to disconnect your trailer, and this is something I harp on people all the time with, is I have never seen a gas station that was not a pull-through. But almost all EV stations are, and that's got to change if we're going to have trips like this.
There's your wish right there.
Yeah, there's some.
Just read through it.
Tesla stuff.
Good, yeah,
They have gas stations.
There's not very many, but
strip them out.
We need more.
We're putting this in here. And so my wife, the model,
That's a good
is in the
question.
next
I haven't
picture
looked at those yet. Those are, I'm sure.
There she is. So this is what the inside looks like. There's an Amazon. You go, you put your palm right there. You go in. If you have an account with Amazon, you go in there, you take your stuff up. You want this, you want pickles, you want whatever, you want some Superman juice, snacks, whatever, crackers. You walk through this other door, out, you're done. It knows who you are. 10 minutes later, you get the bill in your wallet. On your phone. It's fantastic. And they're doing this. This is something that they're going to do all across the United States. Cool. It's coming. It's on the East Coast. They're working on the East Coast. They have smaller places that they're doing through the Midwest right now. But this is the future.
There's one coming to Mount Vernon.
Costco. Right there. I don't see your name up here. But anyway, Ed said, Costco's expand charging stations. Ed said he's going to start them in the Washington State next. It's not up here listed, but he said he's going to do it next.
We've got 2 in Washington State right now.
And where are they at?
Richland and Richmond.
Where?
Richfield.
Richfield.
Richfield, sorry.
Okay.
I think we have 60 nationwide.
Hopefully it's cheaper than 42 cents. Walmart. Walmart is going to do the same thing too. They are very, very
interesting.
They're talking about 16,000 of these units they're putting across the United States, and they're going to be cheaper, a lot cheaper than Teslas. Hopefully, cheaper than Teslas. And
400 kilowatt. Wow.
You got that? Okay, there we go. Conclusion. Long distance towing. The Journey provides the electric vehicle ability to tow over long distances efficiently and reliably is improving. This is AI generated. I just add some words onto it. The AI did all this. This trip highlights innovations, electric vehicles, technology, and practice, and sustainable transportation solutions. The journey also exposes current challenges in charging infrastructures long travel routes for EVs. More fast chargers are needed.
Well, so let's open it up to questions. Anybody have questions for Mark?
That's it. Right there.
When you came across stations that were under repair, what were the typical failures? Were they being vandalized, or were they internal failures?
Yeah, there were actually that they had to load new software or something like that. It was I don't think there was not one station. There was not one station I've been to that was analyzed. Not
That's a
one.
miracle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just old.
The Electrify Americas are old.
So did you go to any of the Love's truck stops? Do they have like EV pumps or EV
No, Love's is totally out. It's the Jays are the ones that are going crazy on this with GM and EVgo. That's the way to go.
And would you say reliability-wise, any particular brand was more reliable than others, or less reliable? I guess.
Rivians were very reliable.
Awesome.
But they were new.
Of course, they're brand new. They're 400s, and they actually worked off the 800 platform.
Nice.
And you plug those babies in, and bam, it would go up almost to max. And it was smoking.
Wasn't it 20 minutes to charge to 80?
Yeah, or something like that. It was
really fast.
incredible. Yeah, and that's the same technology I'm going to see on the Costco's and at the new Electrify Americas. They're coming out, and Costco's and Walmart's.
Cool. Thank you very much. That is indeed an epic trip.
And it was also very fun and amazing besides the electrical stuff.
You didn't just survive.
Yeah, that looks like you literally went around the whole country.
It was a learning curve, there was no doubt about that, but once we got the truck down, it was very fun.
And this month is the month of Mark presentations. So next up we have Mark Shaw, who also back when we were meeting in the old church over in Wallingford, was initially, I remember, starting as 1952 international conversion. So a truck even older than the one that I converted. And tell us about it, Mark.
My name's Mark. I have a problem. I work on cars.
Why didn't it change?
I have a recovering car hauler.
I'm not recovering, I'm still doing it.
How come it isn't showing what's on the screen here?
Oh, do I have this?
I don't know why it,
That's when they have the, oops. Monitor 2. Does that show up?
No. Did that earlier too. Which? The mirror, yeah. Where do we do that? We have to go to control panel or something? What's weird is it kept swapping out of it. It did it. Oh, there. Oh, maybe it's.
I'll just do this.
All right.
We'll
In front
accept
of the-
now.
What I need to do is to get away from hit this guy.
All right.
Okay, so this presentation, I've given versions of this to my coworkers, and one of my coworkers told me when I got the very first car that's not listed in here, starts with one car. It's a disease. Yeah. So yeah, I've got this 1952 that we're going to talk about. But I'm going to just show, I got a 67 Camaro, 1980 Chevy Square Body, the Chevy Blazer EV that's over there, and of course the 52 International. So I guess I'm going to kind of walk through this, but the big point of this is I'm no stranger to working on cars. And I live out near Ames, between Ames Lake, Carnation. And we bought this house with this very dilapidated barn on there. And during the pandemic, you know, I know a contractor, he didn't have anything to do. So I said, hey, want to fix up my barn? And so now I've got lots of space.
All right, here we
to
are.
work on things. This was a 1980 Chevy. So this was intended. I bought this thing, I was going to take this and put this under the 52, and I took the whole body off and everything, and I did the whole chassis and the whole drivetrain and everything. I said, you know what? I should just turn the 52 electric. So I just had the body painted and put that back on top of the square body. And so this is the 52. So this.
Oh, wow.
This truck came off my grandparents' farm.
Cool.
I taught myself to drive on this truck when I was 14 years old, detasseling corn in northern Illinois. And when it came time to, you know, when I get my driver's license, that sort of thing, Grandma let me take the truck. We took it up to Wisconsin, where I grew up, and we overhauled it. I drove it all through high school and a little bit in college, and then after college, I went to work in San Diego, and that's no place for a 18-foot long truck that can only do 40 to 45 miles an hour safely. And so we parked it in the corn bin back here. It was a little bit brighter. This is back when I painted it, and that's my cousin here. It's a longer story. There were actually two trucks. My grandfather bought his brother's truck, so they had two, but this is the second one, but that's the one that I drove. And so you can see my wife have a good time in it, but it came out of the corn bin like this. It's been in there since 1992, and it took a couple hours with a power washer to get all that stuff off of it. And this is the Tesla chassis. It's a new Tesla chassis that's going on it, but this has been a long journey. I spent the first 3 years, let's call it very expensively, learning about EVs, and then I started again this winter, and this is the chassis that I started. You know, this is its second run on it. I did make some stickers, and I don't want Elon to get
catch wind of that sticker. You know, it's violating a few trademarks, I think. So we're going to start with partying out a Tesla. So I bought a crash Tesla. I learned how to do this on the insurance app website. I accidentally won the bid on 2 cars on the very same day. But I figured, if I could get a performance model out of Arizona for $8,000, that's a good deal. The insurance company said, yeah, no, those cars usually go for 18. I figured, they usually go for 18 on the insurance thing. So I didn't get that one, but I got this one. And we'll get a little bit more to this damage in there. By the way, if anybody's got a Tesla Model 3 and with a wheel they want to sell me, I need a wheel. This wheel's broken. So this is my buddy. This is the guy who actually painted the blue truck. He's got a tow truck business. He's now working for the city of Bellevue, rebuilding their. Whoops! Oh my gosh! Why is this not? Okay. Oops. Oh, cannot play media. Shucks. So anyways, I was trying to take videos of these things, and I think I got three different sets of pictures with me. What you try to do is I built this platform, go underneath the car, you pick up the car and you put it on top of the platform, you take out all the bolts, then you lift the car up and the battery sits there. Roll the battery out, right? And it's like, oh, let's do it. Oh, not high enough. Oh, that one didn't work. The third time we finally got the thing out. 1,100 pounds for a Tesla Model 3 battery. That's the extended range. So it's pretty nice. This is the real Cybertruck. We had a little visitor this spring. I thought it was pretty cool. You can actually take his 6'2" father, can actually drive that thing. Kind of pop the seat down and he sits all the way to the back. So drive units. So unfortunately you can't see maybe you can see the video. Let's see if it'll play. Nope, cannot play.
Ooh.
Anyway, so these things pop out pretty easy. Tesla actually, I work on all these old cars. All the old cars, and everything I work on is all rust. It's rust and it's difficult. Connectors are really a pain. These things, you go and you kind of pop a little clip and connectors come out, everything's clean, They put this stuff together, they don't use lock nuts, they use glue. It's just put together for speed, agility. I'm super impressed with the engineering behind this car. And pretty cool. So the front and rear motors. Whoops. Now where am I? So, yeah, I should say this new chassis that I got, it was really designed to make it as easy as you can to do your conversion for someone like me. What they do is they came up with a design. They got the front section, the back section, and the battery section, and you tell them what your wheelbase is, and he stretches the battery section to match the wheelbase of your vehicle. And so he custom made that. The only thing that really doesn't work is that you get these big telescopic struts and shocks. Yeah, you see people on the internet and they go and they cut these big boxes into the back of the bed to do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So you can get what we did is they take off the springs and you can get these custom spring sets made. But from a mechanical point of view, it's very easy.
Who made your chassis?
It's German Motors out of Lexington, Kentucky. I can.
So you scanned your two vehicles and You scanned your vehicle and then they figured out chassis and that?
He scanned a Tesla Model 3 and a Model S and an X, I think. And he did all that work, and I gave him the wheelbase.
Oh.
And he told me how wide it was, and I went out with the tape measure and I said, yeah, that'll work.
I said, okay.
And it was quick, you know, I cut him the check, and like 3 weeks later, the thing's in my driveway.
Awesome. Wow.
And that's a new business he's getting into, because he showed me how he's been doing all these hot rod cars and trucks and stuff. And he thought, you know, I should get into this. This is looking pretty good. So he probably makes more money if he's doing it himself. But this is his third vehicle. This is the first one that he sold. The first two were family members. And actually one of them was an international.
So was the chassis made out of square tubing or?
Yeah, rectangular and square combination. So this is what a Tesla looks like when you got everything out of it except for the windshield. You know, it's pretty cool. By the way, if you need a windshield, you know, you can save yourself $100 if you can figure out, you know. I keep thinking I'm going to cut pieces out of the metal and that sort of thing, and I got to get the windshield out, but yeah, we'll see. But I was able to sell some parts, and so
that's great. Yeah.
The really nice thing about this is that people get these Teslas and they got a crap ton of performance, and they crash them. They crash them a lot, and so you go onto Marketplace and you say, oh, I got a door for sale. The guy will come and say, oh, well, that's a left door. What about the right door? Did you get the right door? How about this? How about this fender? You know, people just start asking you for the parts they need. And so, like, I didn't even mention the left-hand side doors. And I had a guy, he's like, or the right-hand side doors, because in the accident, those were pretty trashed. And the guy's like, hey, what about the right-hand side doors? And, well, the whole bottom is trashed. It's like, no, I just need the top part. So I had one guy buy 2 wrecked doors. It was great.
Dude, 4,000, that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
I still have the tire, not the tires, I still have the seats out. Okay, gotta get it going. So anyways, this is the chassis, you know, once you mount this all in, basically they put in a bunch of, they drill a bunch of holes, you gotta put in the nuts and that sort of thing. And I'll have to weld that all in, but it's kind of a bear putting it in. Being number 3, it was a little, I gave him some feedback. Yeah, you could change this angle and change that angle, you know, make it a little easier. Bell metric, you know, so all my other vehicles, this is the first metric vehicle I've worked on. I should also say, it was pointed out before, I didn't put down like DIYelectriccar.com. I'm a regular on there. Well, I was until I got disillusioned with my previous mistake. And, oops. So anyways, getting to the truck itself, here's 4 videos I won't play, trying to take this thing apart. The hardest part was getting the stinking cab off, because you got this steering wheel with this like 5-foot telescopic thing, and it goes down, and you're supposed to be able to take that apart down there. Well, I couldn't get it apart, so I had to take the steering box apart. And for me, this is a big deal. The oils, they have sulfur in the oil, and it's terrible. So it took a lot of tries to get the cab off. Eventually got it off. And on that last video, it showed it mounted. Oh, that was the dry fit. So this is my friend who helps me a lot, and so unfortunately there's a video you can't see. So here's the cab on here, and trying to adapt the mounts and that sort of thing. We ended up going with cross beams and taking parts from a 1980 Ford F-150. They wanted me to get more modern ones with these nice fancy hydraulic mounts, but then it looked like I had to have precision holes drilled and things, and I'm like, no, that's not me. And I actually had to find a welder too, so Actually, if anyone needs a welder, I can always give you a referral. So this is what it looks like now. We're just about ready to weld in the front mounts, that sort of thing. Once I get those welded in, you know, then it's going to start moving on the next parts. But, you know, I got a ton of stuff to do. You know, my wife's like, oh, I thought you were going to wait until you retire to do this project. I'm like, honey, this is still going to take 3 years. You know, it takes a long time. And then, you know, this just feels like all the mechanical stuff, right? I need a hose, I need a pump, I need this, I need that. And then all of a sudden you got to do electronics and everything else, and you got to figure out how to do a heater, you know. And everything is, for an old vehicle, is an adaptation. So, you know, I got this little box in there with a heater. You go and you turn the thing, and it turns into a defroster. It's like, okay, I'm going to take this little heater core out of the Tesla unit, put it in there. You know, but that'll take time. It'll probably take me weeks to do that. Some of the experience, so I recommend you start with the battery. I didn't start with the battery, I started with the chassis. That was a mistake. Well, I say reduce the friction. So you gotta really look at what you can do. I can't weld, so I picked up a project that required a lot of welding. That was kind of a, you know, not the best thing to do. I also wanted to build a battery pack. I should have just bought a battery pack. Yeah. Donor car, don't buy one with a broken wheel just to try to save money. You spend a few weeks trying to figure out how to replace the CD joint that's jammed because of the accident and this and that. Welding, oh yeah, I did have an electric car. And the thing is, it's going to take time, and you know, you shouldn't waste as much money as I wasted, but it usually takes more than what you expect. And so, you know, I see on DIYelectriccar.com, there's a lot of guys that, oh yeah, you know, I want to do this for $30,000. It's like, no way, you're nuts. It's not going to happen, you know. And so, you know, if you want to do it, go do it. It's great. It's fun. It's fun. Yes.
So what do you mean by donor car? I mean,
the wrecked Tesla that I bought.
Yeah.
I was bidding on. I was looking at several Teslas, and I saw one, and I saw the battery or the AC cables, and I thought, oh man, that might be damaged because the doors were off and that sort of thing. After I took the Tesla apart, I realized, oh, that's what it looks like when you take off the back seat. And then I was like, oh, I could have had one without a broken wheel. You know?
But what's a donor car like? I mean, parts car.
It's the parts car.
Oh, okay.
It's donating its parts,
yeah.
its electric parts to the International. So that's, yep.
Yeah, it's a dead Tesla. Actually, I think I say some of this stuff here. You know, one of the things about the Tesla was, you know, the thing was all operational and everything, but I didn't register it with Tesla, so now I can't buy any parts because they're like, oh, let me see, are you registered in the system? I'm like, no. They're like, sorry. So you got to go to eBay and you're getting, you know, whatever. All right. As mentioned before, I started with the Ford Illuminator. I think somebody here told me they sold 40 of the motors. I bought one of them. And yeah, it was rather nice. There was another guy from DIYelectriccar.com who lives down near the border of Washington and Oregon who bought it from me, 50 cents on the dollar. I'm like, he's going to build his own controller. I started off buying these battery sticks, and yeah, that was a mistake. I figured out how to build a chassis and everything around it, but I need to weld. So, yeah. The end.
Any other questions for Mark?
All right, Jay.
Did I sell you a Nissan Leaf battery pack somewhere in this Odyssey?
Not me.
Okay, there's another Mark building a classic international pickup somewhere on the peninsula.
Really?
All right.
Oh, you gotta
All
find,
right.
gotta track him down and put you in touch. Wow. Huh.
So, yes, sir.
A couple editorial comments of having done two conversions myself. I've always told people, don't buy the battery until the very last thing. You gotta know what you're going to use, make mock-ups.
The design,
but don't actually buy the battery because then it sits and you got to charge it, and if your plans change, you may end up with an expensive and depreciating paperweight.
that's
That's
a really good point.
So I know that a few people in this group had that unfortunate experience. So, but there's that. What was my other comment? Oh, welding. It's not that hard. You can self-teach. But
YouTube.
there's also plenty of places where you can take classes. A lot of community colleges have welding courses. I bet if you Google around a little bit, it's a very handy skill.
Yeah.
You find yourself fixing garden tools and everything else. It's just like, oh, I can just weld this back together. Easy.
Yeah, I bought a welder from a welder friend, professional welder guy, and he gave me a 3-hour thing. But I decided anything in the chassis. I met one of his other friends. He brings his welder over to help me. But I'm gonna do all the body work myself. That whole body's gonna require a ton of work. But yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Well, heavier the metal, the easier the welding.
Oh no.
The thinner stuff that's more touchy
Yeah.
to the warp and
Yeah.
further.
Well, good thing in 52 they use very thick metal. So
That's true.
yeah. So all right, thanks. Great tips.
Cool.
When is it gonna be finished?
Don't say
You don't ask.
don't say that. That's not fair. That's not a fair question.
I tell my wife it's 3 years,
No.
but that's dependent on whether or not I retire in a year.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Because if I retire in a year, then the project will accelerate.
Yeah, that's
And
not
it's
fair.
been 3 years already?
It's been 3 years already, but I started on, the mistakes. I wasted 3 years on the mistakes. It's not a waste, it's a learning.
Exactly.
I learned.
Exactly.
Are you gonna do more after this one's done?
I don't know, the 67 Camaro doesn't have a ton of performance, and I keep thinking, it'd be nice, but I'm telling myself, I'm done. This is vehicle number 4. I started with a 32 Chevy. This is vehicle number 4. This is gonna be my last, my last one.
For a while.
Yeah, for a while. Yes, ma'am.
Will you bring it to our car shows and show it off? I think a lot of people would love to see it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's the paint job is kind of ugly on it. People say, "Oh yeah, we love the paint job." I like a nice clean look, and I got that's also part of this 3-year. I can just keep saying it's another 3 years.
That's one of the most expensive parts, though.
I know.
Paint job.
I know. And,
But yeah, I agree. I don't like the patina look everybody likes these days. I think it looks better if it's nice paint.
And that blue
That'll be
truck,
cool.
I spent too much money on the paint job, and then it's taking me years to get to the point where I'll drive it in the winter, and that's a mistake. So I figured, well, if I paint it, I'm gonna paint this thing myself, so it's gonna have runs down the side, and I'm not gonna. I live on a gravel road. I'm not gonna be worried about driving. So, all right.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks a lot. There's inflatable paint booths. One of my friends who decided to restore his own car was really crowing about he got an inflatable paint booth, which was handy because then you could set that up to not get the dust in, and so he painted his own truck in that, and then when it's done, just deflate it and up in the attic it goes. So, but yeah, good advice. And the other thing now, especially what you said about the donor vehicle, get as good of a one as possible. Also, if anybody's thinking about converting a vehicle, I always say too, ideally get one that runs first. Like you want to start off with the best possible thing possible. And if you get, I got this great deal on this vehicle, it doesn't run or something. If it doesn't run as a gas vehicle when you first get it, then when you make it electric, and some things don't work, you don't know if they never worked or if it's something that you did. So if you start with it working and you get little things fixed, then if they don't work after you convert it, then you know it's something you did and it's more easy to figure out than chasing other stuff. And yeah, same with getting good donor parts. If there's a bunch of stuff broken on it, what a huge headache versus if you knew that it all worked. And the exciting thing now is you can buy non-wrecked vehicles because the prices on some, like Nissan Leafs and stuff, are coming down so much, and the Teslas, that pretty soon that's the way to go. Well, with that, since we've run over time, we will call it a night, and you can chat amongst yourselves, and we'll see you on October 14th. If you're not on the Seattle email list, go to www.seattleeva.org and get on the email list so that you can be kept up to date on where we're meeting and what's going on. And we'll see you next month. No way. No, yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I guess just to confirm, I didn't see Glenn or his locomotive, so I think, but yeah, Glenn, if you're here.